Ladies and gentlemen, seekers of truth and knowledge, welcome to an experience that will take you on a captivating journey beyond our world. Today we have a special treat for you as we sit down with the renowned Andromedan Contactee, Alex Collier. Prepare yourself for a rapid-fire question and answer session that delves into the depths of cosmic wisdom and unveils the mysteries of the universe. As always, please remember to like this video and share it with your friends and family. That way, it gets seen by more truth seekers. Also, remember Alex hosts a live webinar 3 times a month on a Friday at 2 p.m. Eastern Time, so be sure to visit the link in the description for more information. But for now, here are today's rapid-fire questions and answers.
Hi, Alex. You have mentioned several times that when our third strand of DNA is activated, we will have full memory of past lives and remember why we are here now to right the terrible wrong. Do you know what the catalyst will be to turn this third strand on?
No, I do not know. There are some people who have already got it turned on. Many children today coming in, especially those being targeted by the deep state, by the satanic cabals and cults. Those kids have their third strand active. And that's why they've been targeted. And you have to ask yourself, well, how would they know? It's because of frequency. Because of the frequency. They can see the aura. They know the frequency, the dark side. Because the Greys, the Orion group, the Draconians, the Reptilians, they gave all this they've compromised everything that is good on this planet, with the exception of our hearts. Virtually everything else has been compromised by these beings. So no, if I knew that, I would have told you a long time ago what the catalyst is. But I do not know.
I was wondering if your contacts the ET watch your live seminars and know who attends, and can they see each one of us, who we are, our soul origins? I see this in other contactees' conversations occasionally, it seems.
Wow, that's a great question. Yes, the answer is yes. You see, we create an energy field. When we're all together, we create an energy field, a field of consciousness. When you guys are on the chat and you're sharing information and data, yeah, it's silicon, it's digital. But physically, energetically, you're all connecting to each other. You know, whether it's through the technology or not, consciously, we're always in a symbiotic relationship. So you're creating a field of consciousness. We all have. We all have. We're all connected no matter what. Even if the technology were to go down today, we would still have that connection energetically and consciously. And that connection of the third strand, when that lights up and we realize, oh my God, we are telepathic, we can be telepathic with each other, we won't need this shit. We will not need any of this technology. If we use it, it's only going to be because we're sentimental. or it's habitual. But once we realize what our true potential is, once we began to exercise those muscles and we empower them and ourselves with our own knowledge, we won't need any of this at all. It's going to be an amazing time. However, we need to be aware of what's around us. Okay? We need to be aware of what's around us, the environment we live in, the dimensional environment we live in. At the moment, we're very naive, or have been, about what's been going on. This has to happen because this information we're gathering now through experience is what we're going to be teaching and leaving behind for future generations, so that no one gets trapped ever again in this kind of a system. And even though third density will be imploding in this part of our galaxy, there are still other areas of third density that will continue to exist. I've been told that we will be mentoring those other areas because of our experience and our knowledge. And I mean, just think about that. You know, the slaves become the mentors, become the teachers, become the professors.
Have 5D beings been going back in time a lot before, or is this the first time it's been done so much on a large scale? How many terrible wrongs have been righted in this galaxy and others?
That's a great question. I don't have that answer. I honestly don't have that answer. I have been pretty much solely focusing on Earth and us. I'm sure they have traveled. I mean, they have the ability to. The camera, you know, every time they use the camera and they look at a past, whether it's or our solar system or, you know, Sagittarius or Orion or Cygnus, you know, anytime they were to turn the camera at that area and take a picture, they would see the past. But, you know, because of their technology, that past would coexist in their present in the holographic rooms that they would create. And they could literally walk into those times without actually having to time travel into it. All right? They literally can take the camera and then separate those times that they want and actually experience it in their time in a controlled environment. It's amazing. It's absolutely amazing. I do know that there was the mission to go back and capture or targeting at least those 19 beings specifically that had access to the Orion AI system. And, you know, that information was compiled from Elena and Tony Rodriguez. That information was put together, but that was a point where there were fifth and fourth dimensional beings that went back in time, and they sat there and they waited for a trigger event that forced many of the Orion group to time travel out of here to go to a safe place, which of course wasn't safe. It had already been mapped out by those in sixth density, and they were able to capture all these people. And the Orion group support for this cabal just completely collapsed because there was nobody here to run it. Okay, there was no backup whatsoever. It was all gone, and that whole thing collapsed. And that was a very, very significant move. And a lot was learned from that operation. And I often think about maybe that's what the White Hats are doing, is they're doing a similar model, is they're compressing everybody into this little space. So when they, whatever trigger move they have, the whole thing goes at once. There's no support whatsoever, and it all collapses on itself. And it's gone. It's done. So, I mean, if it works, why not use it? So I often think that that's exactly what they're doing. And I don't know if I should have said that out loud or not. Shit. Oops. Anyway, that's what I think. You know, I'm like a lot of people, I'm having trouble sleeping. So, you know, I run a lot of different scenarios. What would I do in a case like this? You know, what would I do if I was in charge? How would I operate this? What would I do? What moves would I take? And I run the scenarios.
I've been hearing things about the solar flare that will appear to us as a huge flash. It was mentioned that when this occurred, that our third strand of DNA may be activated. Also, that we will then remember or begin to remember everything about ourselves that we can't remember currently, and that those who are asleep will awaken. It was suggested this would occur when we're on the brink of World War III. Can you speak about this at all?
I've heard all those things as well. In fact, I've stated some of those things myself. Uh, I don't believe we're going to be on the brink of World War III. And if it even is hyped as that, it's all show. It's all a movie. Literally, it's all show. It's all propaganda. It's all staged to try to wake up as many people as can be awoken. I personally believe everybody that's awake now is who's going to be awake. I think there's a percentage of the population that literally have the IQ of a dinner plate and they're just not going to wake up. So that's on them. Those are the decisions that they're making. But yeah, that's my understanding as well. It could happen before people could wake up before. Could be that they will be a significant percentage that will wake up because of that event. We just have to see. We just have to see. Um, if you're holding the winning hand, you never show your cards until you're absolutely ready to play them. And that's what we're in. We're in this game of chess between two opposing contrasts. The good thing to remember is all the broken pieces find their way home. That's number one. And number two, when the game of chess is over, the king, the queen, and the pawns all go back in the same box. So it's going to be okay, guys. We're just going to have to play it out. And it's weird. The whole fucking thing is weird. And it's going to get more weird. Okay, but we have to play this out. Otherwise, it would be over with. But we obviously have to play this out so that the experience we've gained from this and the knowledge gained we can pass on to future generations. What we do today is really about protecting future generations of our race, of this race, which we call Terrans, humanity, this genetic royalty. That's what we're doing here. Okay? And obviously, we're meant to do this. Obviously, this is important. Otherwise, the universe would have moved on, right? It would have moved on in its infinite wisdom. But clearly, this is something we have to play out. And that's what we're doing. That's what we're doing.
Dear Alex, a star converts all its hydrogen to helium through fusion and then helium to carbon, generating energy with the reaction. The human body has 9.5% hydrogen, 18.5% carbon, and traces of helium. Although next to hydrogen, helium is the most abundant element in the universe, mostly in the sun, stars, and outer space. So, we as humans are star material. Is that what you meant, Alex?
Yes. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. Well done. Well done. But there's a little bit more to that that's coming. Um, our physicality will be changing to adjust to the addition of more helium. Which means more light. But you're absolutely right. Now, isn't it interesting that the ancients knew all this? Isn't it interesting that the ancients knew all this? And then through the creation of Catholicisms, all that information was suppressed. And now all that information, that ancient knowledge is now coming back because we're realizing the fallacy of Catholicisms and the true intent for creating the Catholicisms. It's been an interesting journey, at least for me. It's been a very, very interesting journey. It's worn me out, though. It's worn me out. You know, and I know I'm not alone when I say this. I need a vacation from my life. And I know that's echoing throughout the chat right now in the webinar. There's a lot of us who need a vacation from our life. You know, just so we can detach from it for a little bit to gain some perspective. You know, when you're in survival all the time, it's just so grinding. And that was the intention, you know, by the dark side to do all this, was to keep everyone in survival, to grind us down, so we would surrender our free will to these assholes.
Have the A's ever mentioned what other star nations who are facing similar issues as we are did to overcome them? Issues such as massive brainwashing, corruption in government and corporations, systems designed to keep them in debt or bondage. Thank you, and James and JP, for all you do. Love you guys.
Yeah, I've shared some of that information in the past webinars. Now, the Procyons, I've talked at great length about what they did to overcome the gray system that they were under control and manipulating. And I think that was, we covered that in some of the very early, probably within the first 15 or 20 webinars. And I know that some of those webinars are free now, so you can just go and research that. And I've also talked about that on some of the other older webinars going way back. I was given a significant amount of information, and basically, in a nutshell, and you can go back and find that. I'm sure, people who have been following me know where that information is specifically. Essentially, what they did was the surface was completely controlled. And what they did was they created an underground network of their civilization, and they used the feminine principle, basically the females. They taught them in the old ways before the Greys showed up. And what they did was they created a network of telepaths. And when they had all been taught the old ways, they began to put these kids together along with their mentors, which were predominantly the women, the feminine principle, which were then protected and grounded by the males of the Procyon race. And what they did was they telepathically sent word out, asking for help. And they were heard. They were heard by some federation and some alliance, because there was enough of them to send the signal through the nets, the interference, the grid, the fence that the Greys had put around that particular star system. You see, intent is always more powerful, always. But sometimes it takes a collective in order to get through negative fields. And in this case, that's exactly what happened. And they were able to get a signal out, and help came. Help came. And they've been liberated. And in fact, there are some Procyon in this system now here offering their assistance. And they're flying Grey technology because the Greys were taken out. They were removed. And a lot of their equipment was left behind, and it's been retrofitted. And, the Procyons are now here flying Grey technology, offering their assistance. And I do not know to what capacity, if they're at all being used, but they're here to assist because they get this. They totally get this, and they know exactly what we've been up against. Except I'm not aware that they have the Draconian presence. It was pretty much just the Grey. They may have had some Orion AI, but nonetheless, they get it. They know exactly what we're going through. So, but I have talked about that in the past.
Alex, if you had to do it all over again, what would you do differently? Thank you for your service.
Oh, shit. I would have written children's books, sci-fi children's books, and put all the information in it. And that he probably would have evolved into real life stories using an alias, I don't know that I'm pretty sure that I would not have done it the way I did it. When I learned about the kids, I'm like, who doesn't want to know about this? Who does not want to know about what's happening to the children? And I don't know if I was naive or I just didn't understand people. But, They fucked with me. They fucked with me. I just was like, oh my God. Oh my God. And there's so many times I wanted to quit. I just wanted to just say, fuck it. But when I became a parent, I knew I couldn't do that. I knew I couldn't do that. You know? So I did the best I could. And, I for years, I had no idea if it was even making a difference. Honestly, I mean, people who know me know that. I mean, I've leaned on a lot of people and vented, and there are people on this webinar right now that I've talked to, and I've bared my soul, and I just didn't know if this was doing any good or not. And there was a while there I didn't know if humanity was ever going to get it, or if they even wanted to get it. And then magically, other people started coming forward and talking about similar things. It was interesting in the very beginning, people within the UFO community were all about attacking each other. And I'm just like, which is why I stopped doing the dog and pony shows, going to those conferences, because, you would go and do it. And the minute you leave, they'd all talk about you behind your back. And there's still a lot of that shit going on. It's really, but I understand that there was a lot of co-opting going on. People put in there specifically to attack others and to break it all down. But the cream always rises to the top, always. And I think that's what you're seeing now at this particular time. Is there's so many people who have been around and have survived the attacks and all the bullshit. That they're coming forward, and you have a lot of young people now coming forward who have had experiences, and even others, old timers who just, and whistleblowers and government people and Space Force people and guys like Tony Rodriguez. God, guys, his story's so important. Michael Jaco, his experiences off-world, it's so important. And you'll be meeting other contactees here very, very soon that I'm talking to, trying to help them come forward, and I will do what I can to get them to do interviews with folks, and Elena's bringing people forth. I mean, their stories are our stories. Their information's about us. And we still have some shenanigans going on, but like I said, light exposes everything. And those who are telling the truth always comes to the top. The truth doesn't need any support. It can always stand on its own. Always. So, you can rest assured with that. Would I do it differently? Absolutely, I would. Absolutely, I would. Yeah. But it is what it is, and here we are. And we've all earned our merit badges, haven't we? We have. We have our Purple Hearts.
There you have it, fellow truth seekers. An enlightening and exhilarating rapid-fire question and answer session with the remarkable Alex Collier, sharing his profound encounters with the benevolent Andromedan extraterrestrial beings. As we continue our cosmic journey, let us embrace the wisdom of the Andromedans and carry their message of love, unity, and compassion with us. Together, we can create a world where humanity stands united, ready to embrace the wonders that await us in the vast expanse of the universe. If you found this rapid-fire question and answer session fascinating, hit that like button and share this video with your friends and family. Subscribe to our channel and ring the notification bell so you never miss out on more captivating content like this. Thank you for joining us on this incredible adventure. Until next time, may the stars guide you on your path of enlightenment and exploration. And remember to always seek knowledge and stay curious. If you want to get the latest information from Alex Collier, we host a live webinar 3 times a month on a Friday at 2 p.m. Eastern Time. For more information and dates of upcoming live webinars, please visit alexcollier.org. Please click on one of the above videos to seek more of Alex Collier's knowledge.